Hey, what is going on, guys? Today I'm going to be sharing with you the 12 settings that I always change when setting up my Sony A7R III and my A7 III, coming up right after this. Alright guys, these are the 12 settings that I always change when setting up my new cameras. The first thing I'm going to enable is the RAW picture format. So go ahead and hit the menu on the back of the screen. And on the very top here, you'll see file format, and I am going to change mine to RAW. Now you may choose to select RAW and JPEG, but RAW is my preference. The second setting that I'm going to change is called long exposure noise reduction. So go ahead and hit over 1, and it's on the very top there. I'm going to select that and turn it off. Now, what long exposure noise reduction aims to eliminate is during a long exposures, sometimes you have hot pixels on the sensor that show up as little red dots. The problem is that if you're taking, say, a several minute long exposure, it's going to then take the exact same amount of time and shoot a blank image to try to eliminate some of those red pixels in the screen, but it can actually introduce a whole lot of other problems, so I'm just going to turn mine off. The very next setting that I'm going to change is the movie file format. So from here, go ahead and hit up 1 and go to the second camera tab across the top. And we are going to go down here to file format. And I am going to turn on 4K. Now, it depends on if you're shooting 4K or 1080p, what your setting is going to be here. I'm going to turn mine on to 24p 100, or you may choose to select 30p 100. It's completely up to you. So the next thing I'm going to enable is the clear image zoom. Now this kind of counters what I selected before because it will only work with the JPEG setting turned on. So by having the RAW enabled, this isn't going to work. So if you're shooting JPEG, you can enable this. So I'm going to select over to page 5 here and select down to the zoom setting. And it's defaulted as being optical zoom only, and I'm going to turn on the clear image zoom. Now, if you haven't seen my other videos, Clear Image Zoom is a smart digital zoom that allows you to zoom into the image beyond what your lens is capable of. And Sony's is different than other digital zooms that you've used in the past, which are pretty crappy. This one actually retains a lot of the image quality. Moving on from there, I'm going to change the frame rate of the EVF. So if you hit over to page 6 here, and you'll notice that the Finder frame rate is defaulted as being standard. Go ahead and select that, and I am going to turn that on high. Now this allows you to have a much more fluid electronic viewfinder when you're watching things move swiftly across the screen, and it's a pretty cool feature to have turned on. If we move down 1 from the Finder frame rate, you'll notice the zebra setting. Now, the zebra setting enables zebra lines to be drawn in overexposed areas of your image. This is very helpful when trying to determine if an image is overexposed. I am going to turn mine on. It's defaulted as being off. Now, you can set the intensity here. I'm just going to leave mine on 70, but you can experiment with that and see what works best for you. Moving over 1 page to the right, you will find the Auto Review tab on the bottom. This enables you to have a review of the image that you have just taken. On the A7 III and the A7R III, this is turned off. I like to turn mine on 5 seconds, but you can leave it off or turn it on to whatever you desire. Moving over 1 tab to the right, you will find the Custom Operation page. The top one here is for photography, and the one below is for movies. I am only dealing in photography today, so I'm going to select that. Now, I like to set my custom button 1 to toggle the APS-C Super 35 mode, which is on page 1 at the bottom here. And my custom button 2, I am going to set as my zoom function, which is on page 16. Having this zoom function set to one of the custom keys allows you to enable the clear image zoom mode. Moving over 1 page to the right, you will find audio signals. Now, the audio signals are the noises the camera makes when confirming focus, so on and so forth. I like to have these disabled, number 1, because I think that listening to that beep sounds somewhat unprofessional, and if I'm in a quiet setting, you do not want to have that beep going off, so I'm going to turn mine off. The next thing I'm going to change is the brightness of the rear LCD screen. So go ahead and pan across to the Setup 1 tab, And if you scroll down, you'll notice the first one here is monitor brightness. Now this is blanked out because I've got my camera plugged into an external monitor, but if you select that and you select the sunny weather tab on the bottom, you will notice an increase in your LCD brightness. This is really helpful on sunny days outdoors, but inside you may want to turn this down a little bit. The next thing I'm going to do is enable the touch operation on the camera. Select over one, and on the very bottom there, you will see touch operation. Select that and turn that on. Going over one page from here, we have the touch panel / pad settings. Go ahead and select that. Now I like to turn mine on to touch pad plus panel. And what this does is allows the touch screen to operate like a touch screen, and also gives you the ability to move your finger across the screen to use it kind of as a joystick to select your focus points. Now I'm going to go a little backwards here. I missed a feature. The last thing I'm going to enable is the focus peaking feature. So head over to the first camera tab across the top and select over to page 13. On the bottom you will see peaking setting. Scroll down and hit OK. And peaking display is defaulted as being off, and turn it on. If you haven't seen my other video regarding focus peaking, I suggest you check it out. All right, well, those are the 12 settings that I always change. Let me know in the comments below if I missed anything, or if you have a favorite setting that you like to change when you set up your camera. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. If you are new here, please consider subscribing. Thanks.